So I am so nervous. Welcome to the official first episode of Rebel Rounds. This is like a really big dream come true. Um, I am your host, O'Reilly. Um, Before y'all start laughing and asking where that name come from, just tell y'all. So I'm gonna just give a whole spiel about a couple things. I said this is the first official episode of Rebel Rounds because in 2019, right before COVID hit, um, I was thinking about starting a podcast, and I didn't know where to start. I was just doing stuff, and I just started recording. I didn't even have the name Rebel Rounds yet, um, but I knew that I wanted a podcast. So I created a name for myself. I always liked the way the word O was spelled on like perfume bottles, and even the word, like they have this way of spelling hoe, Heaux. I guess it's some type of fancy, but O actually has a meaning. It's French for water, and I'm an Aquarius. Even though it's an air sign, it's still the water barrier, and I thought it was cute. It's also funny because of the O'Reilly commercials, and my last name is Riley, so it just all made sense to have O'Reilly as my name. It fits well with Rebel Rounds. I started it with my sister, and we both were going through things at the time where we couldn't commit completely to the podcast, but we did a lot of brainstorming. My sister actually came up with the name Rebel Rounds. We always looked at ourselves as different to the norm of our society, what people expect us to be. We just did not fit in that box. So we always went against things like even our childhood. Our parents would say that we were very rebellious. I was always argumentative and she was the runaway. So we was always very rebellious. So I feel like that name was perfect for the podcast. The podcast is basically, well, I always wanted it to be about perspectives. I always wanted it to be about allowing people to say what they feel, voice their opinions on whatever the topic is, because we have so many opinionated people, and I feel like people need to get they stuff off sometimes. So it's never to make people agree with the way I see things, but just learning from how people view things, how it is in their world. So um, I wanted to focus more on the Black community, but however, I should say, um, I've been coming across people who, I mean, you can't really have a conversation about Black people without including other people. The focus would not be more so on other people, but it would include them. So yeah, it's just a podcast that basically gives the perspectives of everyone, and try to try to see where we all disconnect at. Some of the conversations are going to be uncomfortable. Some will be funny. Some will make you cry. But I like to poke the bear. So I want them uncomfortable conversations. I want the ones that sometimes go over people's head, because a lot of people like to talk and not listen. And I want to have those conversations. Just get off into some things. Um, about me, like I said, I'm an Aquarius. I am 30 years old. I am a mother of two. I am, sometimes I don't even know who I am. I am still discovering myself. I am on this journey where I have been shocking myself Some things have been coming up where um I feel like I move like 10 steps forward and then I react in a way that brings me 4 steps backwards. And then I'm just like, who are you? Why are you behaving this way? You work so hard, but I try not to beat myself up. Becoming more understanding and involved with people around me. Just trying to not make everything about myself and understand, like I said, perspectives and opinions and be respectful of others and the things that they do. Try not to pass judgment. I'm not gonna say I'm completely 100% good at that, because y'all be crazy and y'all be doing some stuff, but um, my closet ain't clean either, so that's why I say try. But yeah, so this episode today is gonna be pretty much me just letting you guys in. Just I was told to do 21 questions with myself and just like give you guys an insight on how I view things, my perspective on certain conversation or a certain topic, I should say, a certain topic. And yeah, see where, if you guys can relate or if you guys, disagree at any point. Um, I had written an outline for a topic. It was basically no apology, no peace. And it's really about like forgiving and forgetting and um when is it okay, or is it okay to forgive, or is it okay to forget? People got different views on that. My I have an icebreaker, and my icebreaker questions would be: if a close friend betrays your trust but apologizes sincerely, do you forgive them or forget the whole situation? And when I was talking to my producer earlier today, he kind of hit the nail on the head. It does depend on who the person is or what the situation is, I should say, because you never really know until you're in that moment. So for me, um, I wouldn't necessarily say it was. Well, I would say we were closer than friends, and I literally had just told a person something that made me cry, made me feel less than. And in that moment, they act like they were understanding of what I was going through. But when we had a disagreement, they literally said everything that I said to them to throw it back at me, to hurt me. And in the moment when we were having that conversation, when I asked them this question, um, I told them, like, I don't know what I would do if a friend betrayed me or anything like that. But since this person showed me that they're not a friend, um I still don't know what I do. I think forgiveness for this person is too nice. That's too kind of me to give them forgiveness, because there has been things that they've done before that I felt like they didn't deserve my forgiveness. And because I forgave them so many times, they're going to keep doing things to see how many times I will forgive them. So, or maybe it's just the forgiveness and then accepting them back into my life and in my space that kind of, you know, makes things, makes them feel like they can keep doing the same thing. So, I would say with this person in this situation, um, I would not forgive them, and I will forget them. Um, some things is just, people just take it too far, and I don't feel like anybody is owed forgiveness. I don't believe in the whole you got to forgive them for yourself, because to me that's a form of manipulation. I feel like if you're gonna force someone, or not force someone, but if you tell them forgive them for yourself, that person may not truly be happy with that forgiving, forgiving someone. Like, there's been so many things that I can remember somebody telling me, forgive them for yourself. And I was never happy. I was never happy until I told myself, you don't owe them anything. You can let it go, but you don't have to accept no apologies. You don't have to be kind. You don't have to respect anybody that did something to you where you feel like it was that bad. That's just period. That's my opinion. Um and that kind of leads into the second question where it says, a family member refuses to acknowledge that they hurt you. Do you forgive or forget? Again, old me probably would have forgave them, but with forgiveness for with old me would accept them back into my life. I feel like with forgiveness, that means acceptance, and that's what's. I guess that's where I have to like disconnect the two, because I don't feel like I should forgive anybody that did something that made me feel really bad, or lose who I was working on becoming, or, just going into a negative thinking space. I feel like a person who respects me wouldn't even allow me to go to that place, because they know me well enough and they know that that's what happens when they do something to hurt me. So, yeah, it's a little personal, but one of my family members, um, being my father, he's one person who I refuse to forgive at this point. Too much hurt, too much has been said, too much has been done, and he does not want to take accountability. A person that don't want to take accountability, a person who cannot say I am sorry, ain't no need to forgive them. You don't owe them nothing. It won't even do nothing for you to accept or to have forgiveness for that person. So for me, that's a forget, move on, no forgiveness. Um, the third one, an ex who cheated on you wants to make amends years later. Forgive or forget. Depends on what came out of him cheating or her cheating. Um, if you was hurt in any type of physical or sexual way, like STDs or something like that, move no forgiveness. Exes should be forgotten, depending on how that breakup was. Period. But yeah, it depends on the situation. That I'll just say that depends on the situation. Um, Someone spreads a rumor about you, but later says it was a misunderstanding. Eh, I guess it depends on the rumor. Don't say somebody a pedophile. Don't forgive nobody from that shit. You cannot forgive nobody for that. Somebody call child protective services. You don't forgive nobody for that either. If they playing with your kids and your livelihood, no. Depends on the rumor. Depends on what it is. I mean, if you spread a rumor, yeah, I could forgive you for that. But again, I feel like with a lot of these questions, it's like we don't need to deal with each other no more. Depending on how y'all look at forgiveness, yeah, just don't deal with that person no more. Don't accept any closeness. They want to rekindle, make things right. Nope. I forgive you and just move forward. Um, the last one is, a coworker takes credit for your idea, but later confesses that that wasn't their idea. Um, I call people out. I had a time where I one of my classmates was taking credit for um a card that I gave to a teacher, and she was taking credit for it, and I'm like, no, I did that. So that coworker, that's petty. There's nothing to forgive or forget. I'm gonna let you know right there and there, like, no, that's my credit. I'm gonna take that back. So thank you. Um, yeah, and I forgot to mention I am an esthetician as well. I just graduated in September. It's not that I'm not excited about being an esthetician. It's just the fact that um for me that field is slow. I also I do love skincare and I do love um doing waxes and stuff. However, that's not my first love. I like to talk more than I like to do stuff on other people. I don't know. I just like to talk. So that's why I forgot to mention that it's not my most exciting accomplishment, I guess. But I am excited that I graduated as an esthetician last year in September. So yay me. Um so now the flow of how I want the podcast to go, it would necessarily have people that I can discuss things with. Today I am going to be doing this alone. And I'm just going to be answering questions that I pretty much wrote down. Um, I have a segment that's called Battle Scars. It's typically going to be like where we discuss with the guests their perspectives on the topic or personal experiences related to the topic. So since I'm the host and the guest today, um, my first question is, what does forgiveness mean to you? I pretty much went over that. Forgiveness to me, it means I would say it means letting somebody off the hook. And maybe that's childish of me to still think like that. I feel like forgiveness allows people a place where they feel like they can do that again to you. And unless you are in a safe space where you just simply don't care within yourself, that you just simply don't care, then I feel like people are going to keep on doing the same thing. And if you give somebody forgiveness over and over, nothing would change. I'm not there yet. I'm not in a space where I just simply don't care. I care a lot and I don't want to keep forgiving people, because how many times do I have to forgive you for you to actually stop what you're doing? Like, um, for instance, I'm not in a really good speaking space with someone, and it's because so many times she has done things that I feel like I don't have to keep telling you how to be a friend. I don't have to keep telling you how to be a sister. I don't have to keep telling you how to show up for me, because the things that you do to me I will not do to you. But we steady hitting these bumps in the road where she's not getting it. Um, for her, I do have forgiveness because of her background and her situations, but that's where I cut the distance off. And I won't forget the things that she's done, because every time she does something else, I'm triggered by it. And then that comes up and then it makes me more upset with her. So forgiveness to me is something where unless I just simply do not care about you, it is hard to just forgive you when you cross me to a certain extent. Like the little ones, they start to manifest and get bigger and bigger, and then now you taking complete advantage of my kindness, and that don't work for me. So, um, do you believe healing is possible without forgiveness? Um, yes and no. Again, it's all in how you process it, what you believe forgiveness is. Like I said, I'm not there yet. So I do feel like I'm healing, but I'm stagnant. I'm stagnant when it comes to forgiveness. I'm stagnant when it comes to, it's just me, like I said, separating that acceptance with forgiveness. It's hard having distance with the person that I just spoke about. It's hard. Sometimes I want to call her up, but yeah, I'm very stagnant with that. So, um, it's all in how what you believe forgiveness is. I do believe that you can flourish, but if you're triggered, if things trigger you, I don't think that you're healing without forgiveness. So, um have I felt pressure to forgive someone before I was ready? Yes. Um a lot of times, and I'm not even going to speak on me on this one, just from things that I've seen, a lot of times people are put in situations where things have happened to them, especially within families, and families will continue to bring you around people that did things to you, whether it was physically or emotionally, sexually. They will bring you around these people, forcing you to forgive them. One situation I had within my family was, it was a big fallout due to me being sexually assaulted, and I never got an apology from certain family members. So I had to, I feel like forgiveness was forced upon me to be in these spaces with these family members. I don't hold anything against them today, because one part of my healing journey was understanding the family that I come from. So I don't hold anything against them today. However, um I do feel like I was pressured to forgive them because I had to be in spaces with them. I had to, well, we never really had uncomfortable conversations. So just being in the space with them, and just, even when I tried to hold them accountable, it just, it never worked. And yeah, so I feel like that was kind of forced upon me to forgive certain family members for the things that they said to me throughout that process. But yeah, that's my answer. I feel like I was pressured, but I'm not upset. I am actually, I would never forget it, but I do forgive them. Like, whether or not we've discussed it or not, I forgive them. Um this one is a really good one. How does religion influence the way people view forgiveness? Um Religion influence a lot of things, whether we want to admit that or not. Religion influence a lot of things, and sometimes that can be very toxic. With the things that goes on, or the history that religion has in connections to so many things, I feel like religion plays a big part in why people guilt trip others into forgiving, just even without receiving an apology. Even with the whole concept, forgiveness is for you and not for the other person. um no one can really explain why the forgiveness is for you. It does not, unless it does. Where's the proof that it hinders people from growing if they don't forgive? Because even though I have my issues with how I'm growing, I still feel like I'm growing. And it may not be as fast as I want to, but I still feel like I'm growing. So I know religion plays a big part. It's one of the biggest forms of manipulation, but that's another topic for another day. Um, is there a difference between forgiving for yourself versus forgiving for the other person? Pretty much answered that. It's a big difference. Yeah, we answered that already. Don't want to sound repetitive. Can someone be held accountable and still be forgiven? I feel like it'd be easier to forgive someone if they were held accountable. Why? How could you not forgive someone who took ownership in whatever part they played in whatever situation is going on? Yes, someone can still be forgiven if they are held accountable. It's really, that's the only answer you can give, pretty much. Well, from my perspective. Um, any advice that I'm willing to give to people who struggle with forgiveness? Um, I would just tell them to do what makes them feel happy, what makes them feel good. Again, I believe you don't have to forgive anyone. I believe you don't have to accept any apologies. I believe that if you want to, you should. If you don't have to. I mean, um whether it's struggling with forgiving yourself, now always give yourself grace. You cannot control how somebody treats you, or you can't control, well, you can. I'm not going to lie. You cannot control how someone treats you, cuz somebody, they can do, people are just people, like they fuck up sometimes, or sometimes they take it too far. Some people have ill intentions, some people just really do things without understanding like the consequences or the effects that it may have on another person. So I would say give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up about whether or not you should forgive somebody. That's one of my biggest battles is um being empathetic. I take on the emotions of so many people, or I put myself in their shoes all the time, and I always want to see the good side of someone, no matter what they show me. I always want to see the good side. um I will speak negative to myself before I believe that somebody in front of me is a negative person, even though they showed me so many times. So when certain situations happen and I'm fucked over, I always gotta be like, I gotta give myself grace, because it's like I cannot change that I'm kind and that I'm empathetic, but I have to toughen up and believe what people show me. Like what they say, half of what you hear, everything you see, or something like that. You just have to believe what people show you. So give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up. That's the best advice I can give to somebody who struggle with forgiveness. Um, sometimes, sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes. Um, yeah. So that was all the questions as far as forgiveness. To touch base on some other things. When it comes to just like uh have showing grace to yourself, I am still struggling with that. Um, I had a moment where I I realized that I was starting to lose some of my hair, and the person who does my hair, when she was doing my hair, I was so in love with it. Then I was combing my hair one day, and I was pulling out little strings of my hair, and I just panicked. I went so hard, and I went at her hard, and I was just all over the place, bringing up things that didn't even have anything to do with the moment. I was I was just really hard on myself and on her. And she confronted me, and she was giving it to me. Like she was just telling me, like, when I was doing your hair, you didn't have a problem, and this, that, and the third. And I had to hear her out. And she kind of harbored a feeling that when I said something to her in the midst of our discussion, she kind of harbored onto what I said. And I had to really apologize and take accountability for the things that I was saying in that moment, with me being like very frustrated, me being worked up. And I did place a lot of blame on her, even though I was partially um responsible for what was going on with my hair. And I placed a lot of blame on her. And I had to, in that moment, I had to let myself know, like, you cannot be reacting in these ways. And this is where I had to give myself some grace, because I am still learning, especially within this friendship. I don't know. I haven't had a friendship where I had to hold myself accountable. I haven't had a friendship where I had to think about the stuff that I'm saying before I actually say it. And she handled me in a way where I was just like, oh my God, girl, you're the things that you said to her, I she should be upset with you. She did not have to forgive me for what I've done or what I've said to her. Um and I know that it kind of caused a rift in our relationship. Not saying that it's dramatic, but I know that some way she's gonna probably look at like, what if you react like that again? How am I supposed to handle you? And as much as I can tell myself that I won't do that, I don't know what I would do in the moment. And I have to think about that's where I have to think about like my actions before I actually act on those. Like I have to really think about what I'm saying to people and what I'm doing to people. I'm big on taking accountability and apologizing for the things that I do. And I always tell people I lead with, you do not have to forgive me. You do not have to accept my apology. You don't have to do anything that you do not feel like you want to do in this moment. I apologize for myself. I apologize because I would want someone to do that to me if I know that I'm hurt. So if I know that I hurt you, I would apologize. I would accept my wrongdoings. And um for with us, when we were having this conversation and I was letting her know, like, you are not wrong in how you feel. You are not wrong in expressing yourself in this manner. um she kind of calmed down. She was like, now I feel salty. And then she was like, we have such a healthy relationship. And that made me feel good. I feel like I'm doing the work that I need to. I was really proud of her for accepting my apology in that moment, because again, she did not have to. I feel like I did come at her in a way that was very disrespectful to the type of person that she is and all the work that she does with me and for me. So with that example, I do feel like, I don't know if the forgiveness was for her or if it was just for our relationship and how we grow from this point. But I do appreciate the fact that she was willing to forgive me, and I know that I have to step up and do more when it comes to this friendship, because it's not something that I just want to lose and not have growing not grow from. um yeah. And with that being said, I also wanted to touch bases on, like, in comparison, it was so easy for me to have this conversation with her, and then literally the next day have this conversation with someone that I was in a situationship with, and it goes completely another way. It kind of makes me think about how understanding is such a, it's like really at the level of where people understand you at, or where they can comprehend. There was no way that when I was talking to the other person, he could not understand anything that I was trying to dish out to him when it came to like accountability and forgiveness and understanding. Because like I said, when I started off with the questions, um this person that was closer to me than a friend, he I was asking him these questions, going over it with him. And one thing he has really bad is where when things excite me and I want to bring him in, he does not show interest. Like, I'm asking him these questions, and I said, "Do you want another one?" He goes, "Not really, but go ahead since this is something that you really want to do." And it's almost like, first of all, I felt like I was being dismissed. Second, when I reacted to that, maybe I should never I shouldn't have given him a reaction. But when I reacted to that, he told me that I was overreacting. And so that felt kind of like gaslighting. And then I'm like, how am I overreacting? You don't seem excited about something that excites me. And then once I get to a certain level and we're arguing with each other, I keep hitting this mic, but now I wouldn't even say arguing because we don't get to that level. We just say a bunch of words and then we don't want to talk to each other anymore. But when he seen that it got me to a certain level, he apologized, but then told me, um, he then told me like, well, if you stop yelling at me, if you would stop yelling at me and just listen. I don't know. A lot of things that he say would just be gaslighting, and then he apologized every time, and then at some point I don't stand up for myself and I just accept those apologies, and that's where I'm like, do the forgiveness really be for me, or is it just to just end a situation, or is it just to stop the heatedness of everything? And now we're back at square one because it keeps happening. It keeps happening. And it happened to the point where he said something to me that I don't feel like I'm willing to forgive him for. I don't feel like this is something that we can come back from. I don't feel like it's necessary to forgive him. And I know, like always, he will try to come back with an apology. Now, this is a question that I have to ask myself, and I know only I can give myself this answer, but I just really don't know if I would accept that apology and move forward without him, or if this is going to be a repeated cycle. I don't know what I would do in the moment because that moment has not come. This is the first time he said something this bad to me. And he said bad things before, but this is the first time it has gotten this bad. And I'm not gonna act like an angel here. My mouth can get pretty reckless when I'm up there. But I don't feel like I've ever went this far. So yeah, I don't know what I would do when that moment comes, but it's just like in comparison, somebody that can be close as being inside of your body next to, I mean, and then you compare them to somebody who can only be as close to giving you a hug and sharing great moments with you, being excited for you. It's like how do you how do I, and this question I'm asking myself, how do I be so quick to like distance myself from a person who does not share like physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, I should say? How can I um keep allowing somebody who does give me sexual intimacy to I mean do these things to me, but then I just break it off with my homegirls and my sisters and all that other stuff when we have a disagreement. I'm so quick to be like, yeah, I'm done with you. But him, I'm questioning on whether or not I should forgive or forget. It's really it's hard. It's difficult. Um, I don't have any advice on that. I would like to receive advice on that. I would like um the opinions of others. I don't believe it is stupid to um believe what a person is telling you, but I do believe that, I mean, I do think that it's damaging. It's damaging to keep getting apologies with no change behavior. And with my friend who, well, my sister, who I had this disagreement with, and I had to take accountability in that moment. Um, we moved right along. This person that I'm dealing with in situationship, he got me blocked. And I didn't even do anything. It wasn't my fault this time. So it's just like, but that's where I said that forgiveness thing comes in at, where you beat yourself up for it. Why am I feeling guilty when I really am not the I'm not the aggressor in this situation? Um so many times where I could name the time where I probably did the most, and there was a lot. But to my main thing with this person was, if I'm such a bad person, why do you keep coming around? Why do you keep bothering me? I'm ranting at this point. I'm ranting at this point. I would say to leave you guys with something where I guess you can think about, respond to what I just said for myself. Like, why do you guys think it's easy to forgive and forget about what that significant other is doing or has done to you, but then it'd be so quick to just like push away family and friends? Why is it so easy to forget them and not forgive them? Like, why is it so easy to just have distance when it comes to your people who you see are rooting for you and are there for you, but a person can show you so many times that they don't give a crap about nothing and you just accept it? And I am not accepting anything. I'm not accepting anything. It's just the fact that I want to believe that this person has a piece of, or an ounce of something that they will change, and I know that they won't. But like, I need advice and I need guidance. I need to be directed in a way that keeps me moving forward and not accepting this person back. Um, my sister ain't going nowhere. I refuse to be one of those people that do allow my tribe and my community to venture off or to just break up off of disagreements. But I'm only using myself because I can't speak for nobody else. But I know a lot of us go through those moments where we are willing to accept bull crap from anybody that is giving us sexual pleasures, and then we cut off everybody else because they simply are not freaking us. A lot of y'all say that, especially y'all females. Y'all terrible with it. So yeah, I want to hear the advice. I really want to hear the advice from the um the headstrong women, because one thing I always wanted to be, I always commended women who stood their ground when it comes to men that try to play games with them. Like, I love it. I love to see a woman treat a nigga. I love to see it. I love to see them not play about themselves. So I want advice from those type of women. Don't give me no advice if you're a woman that's still going through that type of stuff. You just sit back and listen. So yeah, I don't have any much more to say when it comes to forgetting. Um, this is really a very short episode because I'm alone in this and don't have any feedback. So, um, I am going to be very present this time around when it comes to Rebel Rounds. If you have listened to Rebel Rounds when I was putting out little episodes 4 or 5 years ago, I do appreciate you for being a supporter and a listener. Um, I have better things coming. Um, and I'm super excited. I don't know if you guys could tell that I am extremely nervous still. I have been sweating a lot. And I just look forward to future episodes and working with this new team that I'm with. So excited. Um, and I hope to gain more listeners. I hope to gain uh more interactions. I want to hear people's perspective. Everybody is welcome, even ignorance. And yeah, I want to see where we can take rebel rounds. And I think that's about it. I think that's all I have to say for today. Bye.